Section 1. What is democracy? The power of the people. What exactly is democracy? Let's break it down. Simply put, democracy is a form of government where the people have the power to choose their leaders. It's often described as a government of the people, by the people, for the people. This means that the ultimate authority rests with ordinary citizens like you and me. We don't just accept rulers who inherit their power or seize it by force. Instead, we participate in a system where our voices are heard and our choices matter. The core idea is that the government exists to serve the public, not the other way around. It's a system built on the foundation of popular participation. A fundamental principle of democracy is the rule of law. This is a very important concept. It means that no one is above the law, not even the most powerful government officials. The law applies equally to everyone, from a regular citizen to the prime minister or president. This prevents leaders from becoming tyrants who can do whatever they want without consequences. The rules are clear, public, and stable, and they protect our rights. It ensures that justice is not arbitrary and that power is exercised within agreed-upon limits, creating a fair and predictable society for all its members to live in. Another key idea is political equality. In a true democracy, every adult citizen has one vote, and each vote has the same value. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor, what your religion or caste is, or whether you are a man or a woman. When you go to the polling booth, your vote counts just as much as the vote of the wealthiest person in the country. This principle of one person, one vote, one value is the bedrock of democratic equality. It ensures that political power is distributed widely among the population rather than being concentrated in the hands of a small privileged group. This system ensures that governments are formed based on the will of the majority. The leaders who win an election are the ones who have managed to secure the most support from the people. However, this doesn't mean the majority can do whatever it pleases. A democratic government must also respect the rights and opinions of the minority groups. It has to work for the welfare of all citizens, not just those who voted for it. The beauty of democracy lies in this balance, where the majority rules but the fundamental rights of every single individual are protected and upheld. Section 2. The pillars of a true democracy. For a country to be truly democratic, it must have certain key features. The most obvious one is free and fair elections. This means that elections must be held regularly, and citizens must have a real choice between different political parties and candidates. It's not enough to just hold an election. The process itself has to be fair. There should be no intimidation of voters, no rigging of votes, and no single party that controls the entire system. Every party, whether in power or in opposition, must have a fair chance of winning. This competition is what keeps the government on its toes and responsive to the people. Another essential pillar is the protection of fundamental rights. In a democracy, citizens are guaranteed certain basic rights, such as freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully, and freedom to form associations or unions. These rights allow people to openly criticize the government, debate public issues, and hold their leaders accountable without fear of punishment. You can think of these rights as a protective shield. They ensure that the government cannot misuse its power to suppress dissent or silence those who disagree with its policies, creating a vibrant public sphere where ideas can be freely exchanged. Accountability is also a non-negotiable feature of a democratic government. The rulers elected by the people must be answerable to them and to the Constitution. They cannot do whatever they like simply because they have won an election. Their power has limits set by constitutional law and citizens' rights. If the government makes a poor decision or acts against the interests of the people, citizens have the power to question them and ultimately vote them out of office in the next election. This mechanism of accountability ensures that the government remains responsive to public needs and concerns. Finally, a democracy is defined by a government that respects the rule of law and the rights of minorities. Majoritarianism, where the majority community rules in a way that disregards the needs and wishes of the minority, is against the spirit of democracy. A democratic government rules for the entire population. It must ensure that every citizen, regardless of their background, gets equal protection and opportunity. The system is designed to accommodate differences and manage social diversity peacefully, making sure that no single group can dominate or oppress another. This commitment to inclusivity is what makes a democracy strong and stable. To really understand what makes democracy special, it helps to look at countries that are not democratic. Let's consider a few examples from our Class 9 textbook. For instance, in Pakistan under General Pervez Musharraf in 1999, the elected government was overthrown in a military coup. He later held a referendum to extend his rule, but this was based on malpractices. Even though Pakistan had elections, the final power rested with the military officers and General Musharraf himself, not with the elected representatives of the people. This shows that just having elections is not enough. The power must truly lie with those chosen by the public. Now, let's look at China. The elections in China do not offer people a serious choice. Only those who are members of the Chinese Communist Party or 8 smaller parties allied to it are allowed to contest elections. The government is always formed by the Communist Party. Therefore, the people have no real option to vote them out of power. This is a classic example of a one-party system, which is fundamentally non-democratic because it eliminates political competition. A true democracy requires a multi-party system where voters have a genuine choice between different ideologies and candidates. Mexico provides another interesting case. From its independence until 2000, the country was ruled by a single party called the Institutional Revolutionary Party, or PRI. The PRI was known for using many dirty tricks to win elections. For example, government teachers were forced to persuade parents to vote for the PRI, and the media was largely controlled by the ruling party, ignoring the activities of opposition parties. While elections were held and it looked like a democracy on the surface, the lack of a level playing field meant there was no real choice for the people. It was a democracy in name only. Finally, consider Zimbabwe, which has been ruled by the party ZANU-PF and its leader, Robert Mugabe, for many years since independence. Elections were held regularly, but they were not free or fair. The ruling party used its power to harass opposition workers, control the media to spread its own narrative, and amend the constitution to increase the powers of the president. The government ignored court judgments that went against it. This demonstrates that even if a popular leader is elected, if they start undermining basic democratic principles and institutions, the country can slip into a non-democratic state. So, why do we argue that democracy is the best form of government, despite its imperfections? One of the strongest arguments is that it is a more accountable form of government. In a non-democratic system, rulers do not have to answer to the people and can often ignore public needs. In a democracy, however, leaders know they will face elections in the future. This forces them to be responsive to the needs of the people. If they fail to deliver on their promises, they risk being voted out of office. This constant pressure to perform makes democratic governments more responsible and accountable to their citizens. Democracy also improves the quality of decision-making. Since it is based on consultation and discussion, it involves many people in the decision-making process. Of course, this can sometimes lead to delays. However, taking time to consult different groups helps to identify potential problems and find solutions that are acceptable to a wider range of people. This reduces the chances of making rash or irresponsible decisions that could have negative consequences for the country. A decision that has been debated and agreed upon by many is likely to be more effective and stable in the long run. Furthermore, democracy provides a peaceful method to deal with differences and conflicts. In a diverse country like India, people have different languages, religions, and cultures. These differences can sometimes lead to social conflict. A non-democratic regime might try to suppress such differences with force. However, democracy offers a better way. It allows different groups to express their interests and negotiate with each other through dialogue and compromise. It provides a peaceful solution where no one is a permanent winner or a permanent loser, helping to hold the country together. Most importantly, democracy enhances the dignity of the citizen. It is based on the principle of political equality, recognizing that the poorest and the least educated person has the same status as the rich and the educated. It empowers people by giving them a say in how they are governed. Even when a democratic government makes mistakes, the system allows citizens to be the masters of their own destiny. For students, Understanding democracy is crucial because it is the system that guarantees your future freedoms and rights. It teaches you to participate, question, and contribute to building a better, fairer society for everyone,